Hey there! If you pay tax right here in the UK, you're going to want to listen to this. We're about to break down a letter you might get from HMRC that could mean a nice bit of cash is coming your way. And to do that, we've teamed up with the experts over at ProTax Accountant. So let's just dive right in.
No, seriously, it's absolutely true. Every single year, millions of us in the UK actually overpay on our tax, and you could easily be one of them. So the real questions are, how do you even find out if you're owed money? And more importantly, how do you get it back? That's why we've teamed up with ProTax Accountant to put together this simple step-by-step guide. Their team deals with this stuff day in, day out, and they're here to help us cut through all the confusion around the P800 tax refund.
So here's the game plan. First, we're going to decode that all-important letter from HMRC. Then we'll get into why your tax might have been wrong in the first place. After that, the good part, how to claim your refund. We'll also cover what to do if you owe money, and we'll finish up with a really crucial guide on how to spot a scam.
All right, first up, let's talk about the key to this whole thing, the P800. I know, it sounds a bit like official jargon, but I promise it's actually pretty straightforward once you know what you're looking at.
So, what on earth is a P800? Well, the easiest way to think about it is like HMRC's annual report card on your tax. Once the tax year is over, they crunch all the numbers and they compare the tax you actually paid through your job with what you should have paid. This letter, the P800, is basically the result. It's their way of saying, okay, let's get things squared away. Okay, so who should be looking out for one of these? Well, if you're an employee or you get a pension, your tax is probably paid through the pay-as-you-earn system, or PAY. And if that's you, this is relevant. Now, if you're self-employed and you do a self-assessment tax return every year, you usually won't get a P800 because your tax is sorted out through that process instead. All right, that brings us to the million-dollar question, right? How does your tax even get messed up in the first place? Let's take a look at some of the most common reasons you'd get a P800. And you know, what's really surprising is how incredibly normal these reasons are. I mean, think about it for a second. Did you switch jobs last year? Or maybe you had a side hustle going on. Perhaps you started drawing your pension, or you just had the wrong tax code applied to your pay. Any of these everyday things can easily knock HMRC's calculations off course during the year. Let's make this real. To show you exactly how this all comes together, let's talk about Sarah. She's a designer living in London, and her tax situation last year got, well, a little messy. So let's walk through what happened to Sarah. First off, she landed a new job. Great news, right? But her new company didn't have her P45 form, so they put her on what's called an emergency tax code. This basically assumes you have no tax-free allowance, so she was taxed on all her income, which right away caused an overpayment. On top of that, she started a little weekend side hustle. For a second job, HMRC often uses a basic rate code, which taxes every single penny at 20%. And to top it all off, a taxable benefit she used to get had stopped, but her tax code didn't get updated immediately. So you can see how all these little things just snowballed and add up to a pretty big overpayment. And this is where a fantastic pro tip from the folks at ProTax Accountant comes in. Here's the secret. You don't actually have to wait for that letter to drop on your doormat. You can get ahead of the game. By logging into your personal tax account on the gov.uk website during the year, you can check your own tax code and maybe spot these issues before they turn into a bigger problem. Okay, now for the moment you've all been waiting for. You get that P800 in the mail, you open it up, and it's good news. You're owed a refund. So how do you actually get that money into your bank account? And look, we are not talking about a few quid here. The average refund sent out via a P800 for the last tax year was a whopping £700. For most of us, that's a huge help. It could be a car repair, a much-needed holiday, or just a nice boost to your savings. The thing is, you have to claim it. And the best part? Claiming it online is actually super straightforward. Here's all you gotta do. 1. Find your P800 letter and your national insurance number. 2. Sign in to your personal tax account on the official gov.uk website. 3. Just click the button that says Claim Refund and pick how you want to be paid. And 4. Confirm your details. That's it. It's designed to be quick and totally painless. This really shows you why claiming online is the way to go. If you ask for a bank transfer, that cash can be yours in about 5 working days. But if you wait for a check, which HMRC might send out automatically if they don't have your details, well, you could be waiting up to 6 weeks for it to arrive. Right. Of course, sometimes that letter can show the opposite, that you actually haven't paid enough tax. Now, I know that's not the news anyone wants to hear, but let's talk about how to handle it without any stress at all.
Okay, first things first, don't panic. Seriously, this happens all the time. You can just pay it all off in one go online. But, and this is the important part, if you owe less than £3,000, what HMRC usually does is just tweak your tax code for the next year. This is brilliant because it means they just collect what you owe in little bits from your salary over 12 months. And if it's a bigger amount, you can always just get in touch with them and set up a payment plan. They're prepared for this.
All right, listen up, because this next part is absolutely crucial. Whenever there's money up for grabs, you can bet the scammers are circling. Let's make sure you know exactly how to keep your money safe. So imagine this. A message pops up on your phone about a tax refund. It looks pretty legit. How can you be 100% sure it's really HMRC and not some scammer trying to steal your information?
Okay, this is your scam-proof checklist. Memorize these red flags. HMRC will never text you a link. They will never email you asking for your bank details, and they will definitely never hit you up on WhatsApp about a refund. A real P800 comes in two ways and two ways only: a proper letter through your door or a message inside your secure gov.uk account. And here's the big one. You should never, ever have to pay a fee to get your own money back. If someone asks for cash up front, it's a scam. End of story.
Phew, okay, we've gone through a lot, haven't we? We've decoded the P800, figured out how to claim your cash, and learned how to spot those nasty scams. The big takeaway here is all about putting you back in control.
At the end of the day, understanding your P800 isn't just about getting a nice little windfall. It's about giving you the confidence to manage your own tax affairs, not just this year, but every year. It's about knowing where you stand and being in the driver's seat of your own finances.
And look, if any of this feels overwhelming, or if your tax situation is just a bit tricky, please don't struggle on your own. Reaching out for expert help is a really smart move. The team at Pro Tax Accountant is there for exactly that reason. You can give them a call or a WhatsApp on 07985 689912, or just shoot an email to info@protaxaccountant.co.uk. And hey, if you found this guide helpful, make sure to subscribe to the Pro Tax Accountant YouTube channel for more clear and simple advice.